Welcome. I'm Nadja Callender, Deputy Chief of Family and Community Partnerships here at HISD. Thank you for joining us today as we discuss good food. Ensuring our students have access to healthy, nutritious meals is a priority because it's hard to learn when you're hungry. We're excited to talk to you today about how we support student well-being through our food and nutrition programs. We'll also be covering important details about our breakfast and lunch programs, adjustments for dietary restrictions, and how families can access meals during the summer months. Now, I'd like to introduce Betty Wiggins, the HISD Deputy Chief for Nutrition Services. Thank you for joining us, Betty.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity to talk about our love, the feeding, and taking care of our kids.
Thank you for being here. Betty, when I think of good food, and I'm wearing my good food shirt today I'm representing, I think both nutritious and delicious. Can you talk a little bit about how HISD approaches creating menus and choosing foods that our students are going to enjoy?
Absolutely. The HISD's Nutrition Services approach is to make sure that we're meeting the kids of our primary customer. That's the kids. So we do things like tasting in the cafeterias. We also, at PTA meetings, offer parents the opportunity to taste some of the food that we put on the trays. So it's really, we're customer service driven for our school meals program. And then also you have to realize that when people start talking about, you know, the taste of our food, we're also highly regulated. We have to meet the standards that are issued by the government, and those standards are fostered by the idea that we want good, healthy food on our kids' tray. Plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables, plenty of lean meat, no added salt, no added sugar. So we come from a platform of health.
Okay, right. Well, that is really good to know. I think we all of us who have students in the district sometimes are, you know, extremely picky, but also many of our students sometimes have the dietary restrictions, so they have to be gluten-free or they have religious-based dietary restrictions. How does the district ensure that those students can still access meals that meet their needs?
Well, again, because we're highly prescriptive from the USDA, we have a clinical dietitian on staff who can address meal adjustments. We have to have a note from a physician so that we can make sure we're not just dealing with some fat attacks. And that dietitian will then consult with the student, with the parents, and even the nurse at the school. Those dietary restrictions are then posted in the cafeteria because we want to make sure that all kids participate. And so if you're allergen, or if you eat allergen-free or gluten-free, even milk, we're able to do that. And we readily and easily accommodate those requirements for our kids.
How should parents inform the district about their students' needs?
That's a good question, and here's how it's done. First, we have to respond to a doctor's order because manipulation in the diet. We don't do calorie restrictions, but for allergens, any kind of the big 8, I call them, we will get the doctor's prescription. I have a clinical dietitian who will then interpret that doctor's prescription into a meal. That meal with the restrictions are posted in our cafeteria. So when that specific child comes along, or a particular child comes along, we know what he can have. Can't eat fish, he can't have gluten, we know that. And we are required by law to ensure that that kid can avail himself to our school meals program.
Okay, great, thank you. So this was something that I learned recently. I understand that we provide breakfast, lunch, and sometimes even dinner at no cost to our families on almost all of our campuses.
That's right.
So can you talk a little bit about why that's so important and the effect that has on a student's ability to learn?
Because it's so important, because people have to understand that a hungry child cannot learn. And even though a child may come from a household, the types and qualities of the calories can affect his ability to learn. For over 7 years now, HISD has been able to participate in something called community eligibility provision. That's where all children eat meals at no charge, school meals at no charge. The days of free and reduced are long since passed. It is no meals at no charge. We do it as a necessity. It is a service to our parents as well. I see on the weekends, I see people trying to do what I call it a hunt, a scavenger hunt through the supermarket, trying to figure out what they're going to put on their kids' lunch, when all you got to do is present your kid to school. He'll get in the line, and I'll take care of that for you.
Yeah.
So, and it's free, at no charge, and it's for school breakfast, which is universal in all schools. A kid can get a breakfast, get off the bus, get out of the car, walk. I don't care how the kid is getting to that school. Once he hits that door, he's eligible for a breakfast. School lunch is the same way. And then we have after-school programs. We also do something called an after-school supper program, which came in very handily because, again, we got parents who pick their kids up late. All right? We've got kids who stay for after-school programming. Even our athletes, our drum mate, everybody is eligible for some kind of meal after school if we have deemed it enrichment. And that's all we have to do is deem it enrichment. And we're working very hard right now to make sure that our band people, our cheerleaders, those kind of kids are getting a meal either before practice or after. The only ones we don't do is the swimmers, but that's the reason.
Yeah, well, that's great news. I think it really helps for families to know more about how their students can take advantage of the program. And I think what I heard you say is all your kids have to do is show up to school.
Show up.
And they can get breakfast and then, of course, lunch, and then in special circumstances.
In all of our schools, I don't care if your parents are dropping you off, if you're coming on a bus or you even walking, just come through the front door and there's a breakfast ready for you. And the state of Texas allows us to do that because they too understand how important it is our kids have the proper kind of calories so they can learn.
We know that summer break is an important time for students to rest and recharge, but it's also crucial that their nutritional needs are met year-round. I want to take a moment to talk about the summer meal programs that will be available to students. Ms. Betty, can you tell us a little bit more about summer meal programs, including how families sign up?
And the Summer Meals Program it's got a long history. And the reason that it's done is because hunger does not take a vacation. All right. So in cooperation with the city and other not-for-profits in the area, even some of our Sunrise Centers, as well as the school district, we provide summer meals. We provide school breakfast and school lunch. Particularly in the schools, we have something called Seamless Summer. So that means that a child, even who's enrolled in summer school, as well as his brothers and sisters, are eligible to come into our schools and eat a school breakfast and school lunch. The requirements for summer meals are a little different. They have to stay on premise. So we're working now to try to figure out how we can bring the kids in for enrichment through the front door and bring the kids in who are just coming for the meal program through the playground door so that we can maximize the number of kids that we're going to serve. There's no signing up. There's no papers to be signed up. There's no pre-qualification. It's just be a kid between 2 years and 18 years and 364 days, and you're eligible for a summer meal.
That's great.
And at any site, you can go any site. It's not like, okay, I live in Third Ward, so only schools in Third Ward. No, you can go to the ones in the South, anywhere. Anywhere we have a seamless summer program, kids are eligible to eat.
That's great. So my last question is really about ways that you're educating students about nutrition outside of the cafeteria.
So you're talking about McCullough Farms, I hope, and our Beyond the Plate experience. We call that Beyond the Plate because the plate is the main vehicle for nourishment during the school hours. But the McCullough Farm gives us an opportunity to do nutrition education. The McCullough gives us an opportunity to show kids about agricultural literacy, food literacy, and even now we're doing environmental sustainability. We're taking our responsibilities to give kids experiential learning opportunities that enhance their well-being well-being is also their it's an academic support. So at McCower Farm, we have a chef. We have a new chef, Brittany. I'm quite sure you guys have seen her, and she just loves what she does, where we do cooking demonstration. We have Nathan Raskus, who is our community dietitian. We've got, oh gosh, I got farmers and farm helpers, and if you want a great experience, and the great thing I like about this farm is that it's not just us. We work with community engagement. We get volunteers out there. We have events almost monthly. We have field trips with kids, early childhood through K-12. It's a K-12 experience. Our program has been recognized nationally for its effectiveness, and even internally, the Black Heritage Rodeo just gave us an award for our community efforts. So McCower Farm is a regenerative agriculture program set up so that our children can have an experiential learning experience and be with nature without having to load them in a bus and take them to Waller County or to take them. It's right here within HISD.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful thing and a lot to be proud of. I know you're also supporting school gardens.
Oh, school garden. I'm sorry. There's so much about, I don't mean to interrupt, but I get excited about our school gardens. We got 101 schools with gardens. We're also working with our DIAD consultants in terms of making sure that we have a deliverable product. From K-5, it's more application. From 7-8, it's more about vocation, so that we can give the kids the experience of seeing what, maybe they want to be a farmer, maybe they want to be a dietitian, maybe they want to be an ag engineer, but this starts with the very basics of working with the soil and working in and seeing what you can produce and understanding and learning how to make choices about your food. It is our belief is our children and their parents need to have more than a consumer relationship with food. So you do that as part of the school platform, or you can do it even in some of our Sunrise Centers. I'm working with churches. So it's a community experience that I'm very proud that we're able to do, and that's the reason we call it Beyond the Plate and beyond the boundaries of the schoolyard.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of this really important conversation.
Well,
it's been great to learn more about nutrition services and how you support our families. Thank you again, Ms. Betty, for being a part of this important conversation today. We look forward to continuing our work together to ensure all HISD students are nourished and ready to thrive. Have a great rest of your day.